Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank the witnesses here today. I really enjoyed your discussion and you brought up some very good points. Mr. Pillsbury, Dr. Pillsbury, I love what you said about coming up with a measure of our success or what we want to do when it comes to China. Because I think what my colleagues have said today, banning sales to China, other actions, we do this, yet they seem to figure out how to get around these obstacles we put up all the time. And I would almost say in football terms, they're flooding the zone and we're chasing our own tail most of the time, not figuring it out. But actually the fact that we're chasing them is a major statement in of itself. So I'd love to have this Homeland Security come up with a, lack of a better term, a subcommittee just to address the China issue and not just a hearing here and there. I can't help to think that a lot of these challenges we have are self-inflicted. Mr. Ivania, you're a former FBI agent. I would call you a patriot for all you've done. You probably could be making then, after 9/11, you could have been making more money in the private sector than you were in the FBI. My concern is the recent firings of FBI and CIA agents. Okay, a lot of you said that the issue here is personnel. They have more people dedicated to the mission than we do, yet we just fired a bunch of people, which it sounds like they're going after them right now. China and Russia are trying to recruit them to get them to turn over information. Not only is the issue with those personnel that we fired, but what about the Iranians that are left in the agency? What effect does that have on their morale? Okay, you go into work, not on an hourly basis, you go into work for the mission. If you think you're gonna be fired, you're gonna be a person that's gonna be on the street tomorrow. Mr. Ivania, how would that affect your morale and your motivation to be the best?
Thank you, Congressman, for that question. I'm a big proponent of understanding and preventing the insider threat from being problematic, and whether it's in the government or the corporate world. From an intelligence perspective, the Communist Party of China and the Russian intelligence services, that's their job, is to come over here and go around the world and recruit disenfranchised employees, whether from the government or the corporate world, and identify them as being vulnerable and recruit them to facilitate either intelligence collection, selling secrets, or providing intellectual property trade secrets on the private sector side. So for me, this is a big issue because we have to be very conscious and effective as we are going to jettison federal employees who have access to critical information, whether it be analytics or secrets, and provide them an off-ramp to identify what those signs might look like if you are solicited or approached by a foreign intelligence service and or their proxy. So I'm concerned about the insider threat moving forward, both in the government and the corporate sector.
And I would argue that even the people that you fire, even if they're new to the job, these are tomorrow's experts on the subject matter. So they've gone through background checks, academic performances. They're some of the best we have in the US. You put them in, then you fire them. How does that bode for us 5-10 years down the road when we're trying to still come up with the understanding, as Mr. Pillsbury said, of the mission that we're supposed to accomplish?
Well, as we've seen in history, the Communist Party of China and Russia will continue to try and place individuals into our apparatuses, the intelligence community and with the government. And by doing that, they need the information intelligence of how do we operate from our application system, our background investigations, our polygraph, what does it look like in our training centers, what's the best and most effective way to get people placed in these organizations. So all those employees, whether they're probationary or whether they're new recruits or they're seasoned veterans, all have an impact on the intelligence gathering of our adversaries.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'm out of time, but
15 seconds.
Gentleman here came up with a great idea, which is to come up with a more focused approach on this issue moving forward, as opposed to a hearing on this on a random basis, so to speak.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Good idea.
you.